Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. I hope you had a great day. Today we are looking at some new malicious compliance stories. I hope you enjoy the video. The first story is called "You Want Donuts?" As a new person at my job, I was told multiple times that I was expected to provide donuts for the entire office. Normally that's not a big deal. But two people in particular were rude and relentless about the donuts all week. Others joined in also. Apparently, these people recently extorted 2 boxes of Krispy Kremes from someone else. Here's the problem. I was hired as a senior, 30 years old, and I was not necessarily loving the idea of being told to buy donuts. Hazing really did not seem appropriate at this point in my career. But I didn't want to be a bad sport during my first week, so I played along. In terms of the workforce, I was mature, but I was not very mature as a person overall. I needed a creative way to address this problem. On my way to work, I decided to pick up a cheap bag of small powdered Hostess Donuts donuts at the gas station. I distributed the donuts one by one, desk by desk, making sure to do so barehanded from the bag. I presented the donuts extremely politely, careful to mask my passive-aggressive FU to the whole forced donut process. The reaction from the staff was a lot of the deer in headlights looks. People had no idea if I was a really nice but clueless person or if I was totally saying F you to the entire donut idea. Most people took the safe choice of being pleasant in return. Some people tried to refuse, but I mentioned the big deal about buying donuts and still left a donut on every desk. I had originally considered providing a donut to everyone except the last 2 idiotic, pushy people. I started verbally setting it up where they would not receive a donut. However, these 2 idiots were still openly verbally complaining about donuts as adults. I could tell that this was not going to go away. They could not take a hint to back off. My idea to passive-aggressively snub them was no longer good enough. This had to be more direct. I decided I was 100% done with these guys, regardless of the consequences. I told them I had another idea. I grabbed a plastic knife from the break room and cut the remaining donut in half the long way, so I still had 2 circles. The yellow cake was now visible. Then, the most brilliant idea of my life. A new way to hold donuts. 1 donut on each middle finger, with my middle finger in the center hole of each donut. I stopped at both desks. The first guy had his choice of 2 half donuts on my middle fingers. That's right, I was able to give him a double donut middle finger. He now understood that I was completely done with his BS, but he never grabbed a donut. I explained the donuts are actually quite tasty and urged him to take one, but I'm sure I looked like a complete psycho. I was no longer able to stay in character. The good news, his refusal to take a donut from my middle fingers also allowed the opportunity to provide the last guy a double donut middle finger. I mildly snapped and had a fake grin on my face. I looked him right in the eye. Double donut middle fingers up, no longer saying a word. The reaction of the last person is best described as completely frightened. I reached a complete breaking point over donuts and scared the hell out of someone. Anyway, after this incident I was never asked to buy donuts again. The next story is called Head of Marketing. I worked in marketing and was basically alone. I had a boss who called herself Head of Marketing, but had clearly no idea what she was doing. On top of this, she worked only part-time and would spend her time walking around telling everyone how much she had to do instead of doing her job. At some point, she was told to do a flyer for a new program we wanted to offer. Not being able to work with InDesign or Photoshop, she told me to do it and give her the files, so she could send them to the printer. However, since it's her project and she didn't want the big boss to know I did her work for her, she told me that I should just use the pictures and text she provided. To make it look exactly the way she had pieced it together in a PowerPoint file. She regularly did this and it really angered me. So I did exactly what she asked. I used her text, which was full of typos. And I used the pictures, which were way too small for print and also had watermarks in them since she only downloaded the preview pics from the stock website. So I designed it to look the way she had envisioned it. I put the text in without correcting any of it, turned it into a printable PDF and sent it to her. She claimed she had looked at it and it was perfect, but since she didn't have the time, yeah sure, I should send it off to the printer. Well, 1 week later the flyers arrive, just in time for the first big event where we needed them. And they looked like trash. Pixelated pictures with watermarks, typos in the headline and text, you get the picture. Our big boss was furious and she tried to blame it on me. However, I had saved all our conversations and all the original files she gave me and just handed all that over before going about my work. I quit a few months afterward. As far as I know, she's still working there. However, she's not head of anymore and has to show everything she does to two superiors now. I hope you enjoyed today's video so far. If you want more content, please subscribe to the channel. And if you like the video, don't forget to press the like button. It really helps the channel to grow. And now, on to the next story. The third story is called Just Throw It In. I work as a receptionist, but besides that I also wash the towels, dish towels and dish clothes. It's not a big task. There's a washer and dryer in the basement and I usually just wash every 14 days. But then we started getting more laundry, mostly onesies and other baby stuff. I asked my boss and he said, "Oh, my wife is having trouble with the baby. So would you mind helping out a bit?" I didn't really mind. I'm a mom too, so I know a newborn really can wear you down. I would just wash it with the other things and then put it in a bag without folding it. So some time goes and one day there's a ton of laundry, and I mean everything. Lingerie, sport clothes, bed sheets, woolen sweaters. I go to my boss and ask him what I'm supposed to do with all that. He gets annoyed and says, "Just throw it in the washing machine. And by the way, my wife is dissatisfied with you not folding the clothes." Just throw it in the machine? You got it, boss man. Everything goes in the machine, including a bright red wool sweater. After that, everything goes in the dryer. All the light items are now pink. The icing on the cake? The baby is a boy, and all the wool clothes are doll sized. I fold it neatly and put it in a bag. The next day, my boss is furious. "You ruined our clothes." My wife says you are not allowed to touch it ever again. Wonderful, thank you so much. Then I went on with my day and never heard a word about it since. The last story is called Call the Police for That. I live in a very quiet suburban neighborhood with lots of active neighbors, joggers, bikers, dog walkers, baby strollers and kids playing ball in the streets. The speed limit is 25, but when I see lots of foot traffic on the sidewalks, I bring it down to 15 or even 10 if I see a big group of kids playing in the street. There is this sweet group of kids who plays basketball in the middle of the street 8 doors down from my home. When they see cars approaching, they move to the curb and wait for the cars to pass before resuming their game. One day I was driving home from work and I saw the kids out playing. Their mother was on the front lawn talking with another adult. I slowed down to 10 miles per hour and went to the complete opposite side of the street as I crept by. A little while later, she knocked on my door and complained about how fast I was driving and that I could have harmed her precious children. I said, the speed limit is 25 and I was going 10. How much slower do you want me to go? I don't care, just slow down or else I'm going to call the police. I have a doorbell camera, so I can see you every time you drive by. Okay, crazy lady, whatever you say. The next day, the kids were outside playing in the street again. I slowly approached, came to a full stop and then I took my foot off the brakes and let the car crawl at 1 mile per hour. The kids stared at me all confused as it took me an entire minute to pass through the makeshift baseball court. I continued to do this a few more times until one day the mother came and knocked on my car window as I was crawling by. I lowered my window and asked if there was a problem. She said, "Why are you going so slow? Are you stalking my children?" I said, "No, of course not. You demanded that I slow down, so I am." And I rolled up my window and went on my way. She came banging on my door again and said, "Don't get smart with me. Now you are going too slow." I said, "Are you saying that going 10 is okay now? Because if you don't like it, you can call the police." She huffed and crossed her arms and stomped off my porch. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Let me know what you think about the stories in the comment section below. Have a great day. Bye bye.